Today, I'm going to teach you how you can create an awesome marketing campaign using what you already have, discovery calls, sales calls, whatever your firm has them, combined with the power of Claude Code. Now, this is going to be completely beginner friendly. So if you've never used Claude Code before, no worries. This is going to show you exactly what to do step by step. And it's only going to take a handful of minutes for you to get this set up and running and off to the races. One of the things that is most challenging about marketing is that we like to use the language that we're familiar with, the terminology that we're familiar with. But the deal is our prospects on the other side actually receiving this marketing information, they might not always use the same language we have. So whenever we create our marketing materials using exact wording, exact language from our ideal clients, from those discovery calls that we're having, then we can make sure that our messaging aligns directly with the pains, the desires, the hopes, the dreams that our prospects have. And as a result, our marketing is going to be that much more effective. So if you hang with me, I'm going to show you exactly how to do this. And what ultimately you're going to walk away with is a campaign strategy that includes a message bank pulled from real prospect language, a 2-week content calendar, 6 LinkedIn posts, 2 emails that encourage people to book a call, a landing page outline, a 30 to 45 minute closed call sales script, an objection handling cheat sheet, a follow-up sequence for people who decide not to go forward on the call, and then a simple measurement plan so you know what to tweak week over week. Now, like I said, this is only going to take a matter of minutes, and I'm going to build it with you here today. All right, let's go ahead and dive in. Now, if you haven't already, I want you to go to Cowork. So I'm going to pull up my screen. If you haven't already bought a paid version of Claude, then I want you to go ahead and do that now and buy the Pro version. That's going to allow you to actually use Claude Code. You may need to upgrade over time, but start with the Pro. It's $20 a month and it will exceed $20 worth of value. So you'll want to go ahead and download the desktop apps. And I have that here. I'm going to go ahead and pull it up for you right here. So we have Claude Cowork pulled up right here. And what we need to do is we're going to first give it a little bit of information, and then we're going to connect our files to it. So as we start, we have to give it some context. And what I have on my desktop is Cowork Campaign Build. And in it, I've set up 3 different folders. So transcripts, and these transcripts contain 5 discovery calls that I've had. I'm going to show you first how to take these and make sure that they're sanitized so that there is no personal sensitive information whenever we get our marketing materials actually created from using these transcripts. I'm also including a thing called brand, and this is optional, but I went ahead and I included 10 of my YouTube transcripts. You absolutely do not have to do this for this process to be effective. I included those transcripts so that there would be a little bit of context on how I speak. Again, you don't have to include this. You could include nothing. You could include content that you've created, blog posts, LinkedIn posts, other social media posts, up to you. I would recommend though, if you don't include any examples of how you write, how you speak, how you talk, rather than including 5 discovery calls, I would add 10 or 15. I also included this document called a brand pack. And in the brand pack, I have included some different things like what the goal is of the offer. I've written down some examples of problems I solve. I have included what we promise, what we are going to deliver, what platforms we work on, exactly what we're doing, time required from the client, examples of what we don't do in this offer, examples of what our call to action is, so 30-minute call, some examples of proof of results we get. I've given it some voice and style guides of what I want, how I want the marketing to be written, examples to avoid. I don't want any emojis. Don't want any numbered lists. I don't want it to sound like hype language, corporate blog, no em dashes. What I do like, and then words I don't like. I really don't like written words like game changer, unlock, leverage, 10x, synergy, crush it, hustle. I included some frequently asked questions that I answer consistently on calls. I also included some proof points. I included some objections and how I handle them. And then I repeated like, hey, never ever say these things. A lot of those I mentioned before, but I wanted to specifically call them out. So that was my brand pack. And then I've also included some non-negotiables in here where I wanted to make sure that for any output it gives me, I am very clear about non-negotiables. The non-negotiables is optional if you want to include it. And if you want to just kind of copy my brand pack, let me know. Connect with me on LinkedIn, Katie Thomas CPA, and I can give you all the information on the folders I created, the prompts that you'll see me use with Cowork, everything. So just connect with me there, or just pause this video and go one by one, but I'm happy to make your life easier and just send you all the information. So now what I'm going to do is give Cowork a series of prompts to take these transcripts, these brand rules and inputs, and then create output. From all of this, we are going to create a campaign strategy that has message bank, also going to have a 2-week content calendar that includes some LinkedIn posts, some emails that you can send. We're going to include a landing page outline, a close call sales script, objection handling cheat sheet, follow-up sequences, and then a simple measurement plan. The first thing that we want to do in all of this is we want to take those transcripts and we want to sanitize them so that in all the output, there's no sensitive information. So let's go ahead and start there. Now, for this prompt, I'm going to put in some information here. I have my prompt here, and I want it to basically go through, and if it's not sanitized already, I give it a prompt to sanitize it. And if you haven't done this, let's go ahead and make sure that you are connected to the folder that you want to work in. And typically I would say to leave it in this Sonnet 4.6. However, I was having a few issues doing sanitization yesterday on this version. So I'm going to go ahead and switch it to this version now. And then for our other prompts, I'll move it back. Okay, now let's go ahead and have this run on Cowork to sanitize those 5 discovery calls I gave it. And then we'll move on to the next step. Okay, everything ran and it says that it created all of these documents and processed them. It says that I can find these under Transcripts Sanitize in my workspace folder. So if I pull over my document, I now have this new Transcripts Sanitized folder here. And what we will do now is we want to actually start creating our marketing content. The first thing we're going to create is the messaging bank, where this message bank is going to include the pain points people keep repeating, the outcomes they want, the objections that they're actually saying out loud, what triggers them to finally book the call. This is where most people mess up in marketing. As I mentioned at the beginning of the video, they aren't using the language that their prospects are actually using. So this is going to be key in creating the rest of our marketing campaign and its associated assets. I've got a new prompt to give it. First, I'm going to move it back into the other version. So basically, I'm telling it to take those sanitized transcripts and the brand pack, the non-negotiables, the examples, and then the output is going to be this message bank. I want it to create 10 pain points using exact phrases, desired outcomes using exact phrases, objections using their phrases, find triggers, misconceptions and reframes, proof points, positioning statement, call to action language. I'm giving it some confidence levels, and then I give it also some rules. All right, let's go ahead and run this and see the outcome. Okay, it's done running. And it said that it created the message bank, that I can find it, and we will go through that and look at it together. I do want to point out that it said that 2 of the sanitized transcripts still contained prospect first names that the original sanitization script did not catch. If I were going to be using this in actual marketing materials, I would be very diligently reviewing the outputs. And this is just a good demonstration that AI is amazing and super powerful and it's wonderful, but we can't just rely on it. So let's go ahead and see what it came up with for this message bank. So if we go into our output where we told it to be, we should have a message bank. And from here, so basically it went through and there's a lot of information, but basically it came through and it identified the top pains, saying that they rely on networking and referrals from existing clients. We know that that's so true. We haven't marketed ourselves as experts in the area. We got to get more specific with our marketing. So there's tons of them. It came out with a bunch of desired outcomes, finding new clients that understand the value, Getting clients is what matters more than anything. That's the ultimate goal. I hear that all the time. They don't really care how they get them. They just want clients. Building a brand that people know they can trust. There's a lot of great ones here. A system that runs without you. Objections. We're waiting on another proposal. I want to make sure this is a good fit. Ask me again in 3 weeks. I haven't reworked our budget for this year. I feel like doing organic social without any social media presence of who we are might not go over too well. Fulfillment. So there's lots of things here. Buying triggers. I found you the same way we want clients to find us. They had a bad experience with a generic agency, launching something new. All these are so true. Misconceptions and reframes, proof points, positioning statements, call to action language. So there's so many good things here. I don't want to make this video too long, but it gives me the exact wording pulled from these calls to not just guess what kind of language I should be using, but confidence in what language I should be using. And reading through this, it's like, of course, that's what I hear all the time, but hindsight is 2020. So I really recommend that even if you think that you know your ideal clients, you do this process to confirm that what you are saying and thinking actually lines up to what they are saying and thinking. Now, what we want to do, since we have this message bank, is we want to take it and use it to start creating the campaign. So I'm going to move this over here, and I want to now give it a new prompt that says, okay, let's use this message bank, the brand pack, the non-negotiables, the examples, and I want you to create this campaign strategy. The goal is to book more calls for my social media marketing offer. I'm being very specific here. I'm saying just my social media marketing offer. We're not talking about any other marketing offer. And I want you to include my target audience, core promise, offer framing, 3 key messages, top 5 objections and responses, a 2-week theme, and then I give it the rules, follow non-negotiables, no invented results. This is where the fun happens. This is where we start creating some of those marketing materials. So I'm going to go ahead and run this and let's see what it comes up with. It came up with the campaign strategy, and I'm going to go and open that for you. Basically, this is just confirming and outlining all the information that we will then use to actually start creating the content calendar and the rest of our marketing assets. This really hit the nail on the head as I'm looking through this, and I do want to point out that if I were going to use this beyond just an example video here, I would likely be making little tweaks here and there. So if I made a change here, I could just save this and it would be in my files in my desktop so that then the next prompt, if it was pulling from this campaign strategy document, those changes would be there. I will quickly look over this with you. So basically our target audience is accounting and CPA firms who want more discovery calls without relying on referrals. More specifically, they're running established firms with no real expertise. They get clients through word of mouth marketing. Exactly. This is for accounting firms who have expertise but feel invisible online. Exactly. It's also a fit for firms focused on recruiting, launching a new service, or trying to attract a more specific type of client. That's exactly it. It's not a fit for clients that need clients this week and have no interest in building anything long term. We always talk about that. We also always talk about that referrals have a ceiling, a predictable pipeline does not. So that's a key message. Message 2 is you do not need to become a content creator. You just need a system. We really set up the whole system for you, manage it. You do not need to become a content creator. Yes, you need to have your face on the content, but you really have to do very little. The right clients are already checking you out online. The question is, what will they find? That's a huge message that we have. People are already looking you up, and you may already even have a profile. They're seeing something, even if they're seeing nothing, but what are they seeing? Does that reflect what you want them to see? We have top 5 objections here. So again, I would go through all of this in detail, make any changes I wanted, any tweaks, I would save that, and then I would actually move into building the content calendar, which we're going to get into next. But really looking at this, it did an incredible job. So for purposes of this example, we're just going to roll with it. And I've already pasted in my next prompt here and started it where we are going to actually create the content calendar. So using this campaign strategy, the message bank, the non-negotiables, the brand pack, I want you to create a content calendar with 3 LinkedIn posts per week, so 6 total, 1 email per week, 2 total. And then I give it some formatting rules, give it some, hey, do not do this. And I say we want to end with a call to action. I give it just a generic yourcalendarlink.com, and it went ahead and ran and created the content calendar. So I'm going to show you now this content calendar that it came up with. So it says, here's your content calendar, and it's about you built expertise. Now build the pipeline. It's 3 posts per week, 1 email per week. It came out with them pretty good. I said to give it like short sentences. This is saying most accounting firm grow through referrals. That works until it doesn't work fast enough. And then it talks about something new. I like that here it talks about what would it change in your firm if you had a steady pipeline that did not depend on you. Then it gives me another post about that someone refers you to a prospect. They look you up online and what do they see? Kind of talks about that. Hey, you're not visible whenever they look you up, right? The next post is that basically you tried this, you stopped. It goes into that why this might not be working. And there's some more stuff in here that's really good about referrals not being a marketing strategy. You can see how this all ties together. And honestly, again, it's super good, but if I were doing this to actually post, I could go through and change this a little bit, but it's pretty darn good, pretty accurate here. Now what I want to do is take all of this and I want to actually build the full output of all my assets, from the content to the sales script to the objection handler, the landing page outline. So that's the prompt I'm going to give it now. Remember, along the way, I could have made edits to this and tweaks. And as we're going through each one of these, now we'll take all of those and we'll create full asset pack. I have my prompt here and I say, okay, I want to use the message bank, the campaign strategy, the content calendar, the brand pack, the non-negotiables, and then my YouTube transcripts. And I want to create a folder with these draft assets. It's the emails, the LinkedIn post, the landing page outline, the sales script, the discovery questions, the objection handling to close them, and the post call follow-up. I give it some rules and let's see what it comes up with. It's now finished running our latest prompt and it's created 7 new files for us. Let's go ahead and look at those. In my campaign build folder, in my output, I now have draft assets. And I have a nice folder with discovery questions, emails, landing page outline, LinkedIn posts, objection handling, post call follow-up, and a sales script. This is, to me, amazing. We've barely had to do any work. We fed it those initial calls. I also gave it my 10 YouTube videos, which I've mentioned you don't need to do. You could give it more discovery calls or other information if you wanted. And I've got all of this. It's so powerful to create your marketing assets using the discovery calls, but something that a lot of people I talk to have not considered is actually using them to create your objection handling in your sales script. Whenever I pull open this sales script that it's created, it is fantastic. It really identifies what questions to ask, how to go through their current situation, how to transition them to the offer, and includes some objections and questions. It also gave me this nice objection handling script here to go through a lot of their objections. So from we tried posting, it didn't work, we already get referrals, I don't have time, the price, let me think about it. They're all using objections that I've gotten and helped me handle them based upon everything else I've given it. In order to keep this video moving along, let's go ahead and talk about the last thing that we want to do, and that is to make sure that we have some way to measure and track how things are working. I'm going to go ahead and put that final prompt in here. And basically, I want to tell it to use our campaign strategy, our non-negotiables, and create a measurement plan to track everything and help me figure out what to change if something is not going accordingly. So I'm going to go ahead and run that right now. We'll see what it comes up with, and then we will talk about where to go from here. All right, it's done running once again. Let's see what it came up with. In my output folder, I now have a measurement plan instantly created for me. Talks about tracking impressions, comments, and replies matter more than likes. That's absolutely true. Profile views, we should see them going up. Connection acceptance rate, track that. Talks about emails and open rates, calls booked. That's our primary metric. 15-minute review, what to do. And this looks really, again, super awesome. Gives me a great starting point that then I can tweak over time. It lets me know like, hey, if emails are low, what to do. If replies are high, but bookings are low, what are some things we should be considering? This is really spot on. Did a great job. So where do we go from here? If you're looking at all of this and you're like, okay, this is great that you did all of this, but I want the exact steps laid out for me so I can repeat this, then comment Cowork below and add me on LinkedIn. I'm Katie Thomas CPA there, and say, hey, I commented Cowork on your recent YouTube video, and I'll know know exactly what you're talking about, so I can give you a document that outlines everything I did, and you can take this and use it for yourself. Now, before you click off, be sure to like this video if you like this video and subscribe to my channel so you don't miss out on my next video, and I will catch you then. See ya.